Hey guys, welcome to Flatrock King. Hey, today is all about the first cook on the Traeger Flatrock Griddle. Hey, I told you the first cook was going to be a cheesesteak. We're going to mix it up a little bit today and do a cheesesteak quesadilla. You guys, stay tuned. All right, a lot has went on behind the scenes since our seasoning process and our first cook today. I kind of mentioned during the seasoning process that I was surprised how rough the surface was. So today's idea about the cheesesteak is because I always like to do a cheesesteak the first time. It's kind of like a tradition that we have. I am interested in some things about it. So right now we have the griddle on low on every single burner because I want to see that low temp. I personally do not think the top is ready, even on the first cook. So what I did, I went ahead and seasoned it 2 more times. There's a theory out there that if you add onions, it helps your seasoning better. Now, I've tried to do some deep research. The idea is that sulfur releases from the onions, which creates a harder patina. I wasn't necessarily looking for that. I don't know if that's 100% accurate. Maybe some out there, a scientist will say, yes, it is. But we don't do it in cast iron that much. So I don't know. What it does do, it allows you to put that item on the griddle. You can cook it to death. It's very cheap, but it allows you to spread that oil in the onions back and forth as you're like gliding the onions. You get them deep, dark, caramelized, and onions typically aren't prone to sticking. So that's kind of the mentality that I would rather stay with. So we did that, and believe it or not, the onions, it took a while for them to loosen up. You can definitely tell the grip on the griddle. So it's going to be extremely interesting on this very first cook. And I'm going to do the cheesesteaks 2 different ways.
And for those people that are wondering, you are a little under the weather today.
Yeah, I'm hurting. All right.
Your voice is a little off.
It's like I opened a door, and I'm in shorts and a shirt. And 2 days ago we filmed, and I was freezing to death. Snowflakes on the hash the other day. And I opened a door, left winter and early spring there. I entered a realm of nothing but allergies, like that. All right. The reason why we're going to try this 2 different ways, I'm going to chop one up completely, almost like a sliced style chop on a whole ribeye. The other one is I'm going to keep whole just to see what kind of crust we can get on the griddle. Then I'll remove it, and I'll chop it up with the vegetables, add it back in, so it's going to be kind of like 2 different style cheesesteaks. This is more about the first cook than it is the item, okay? This isn't like the world's greatest dish I'm inventing, but I do want to have fun today, see what I can do. So follow along with us and let's see what we can get done. Deal?
Yep.
All right. Today we have extra sharp cheese because the other day we had seriously sharp cheese. So if somebody can explain the difference to me, that'd be greatly appreciated. Seriously or extra? We got a white American cheese. Absolutely love it. It just has that melting quality. Some peppers, onions. Today we're going to go salt on that steak. And a little bit of mixed up seasoning that I have. And of course some quesadillas. Or some tortillas that we'll make into quesadillas.
Carb control.
On it. All right. I just took one of the steaks out. I just did a light even coating front and back of salt. Salt only. Because this is going to be our sear steak. I've got all the prep work out of the way. It's been about 20 minutes. I'm just shooting the gun here just to get my first thoughts. So it looks like it's about 375, 380, sometimes 350, depends on where you shoot it. It's a little high for my liking, especially on low. I always love when a griddle can actually cook on low, so it seems like it's starting to build, but it's kind of plateaued off. We can work around it. We haven't adjusted the knobs yet. But what I am going to do is take this one right here completely to high. This is going to be my sear zone for the whole steak. I'm going to leave these 2 on low because I'm going to see how much bleed over I get. The griddle is 1 unit. I know there's a partitioner in between it. It says it's true zone cooking. The only way to find out is if you turn one zone higher than the other. And I figured that if I turn this one on medium, then it kind of
skews the results.
Exactly, yeah. So we're going to see what happens there. Let me let this side heat up. So we just want to start those first. Of course, you can use avocado, butter, whatever you got. I'm just going to throw some beef tallow in there. Start letting those vegetables do its thing. I just want to jump on real quick and say that we just got done filming the big breakfast, which is, our second cook. And it's a complete 180 from our first cook. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but I do know that if you're interested in the Traeger, I learned my lesson from the Weber griddle that sometimes your highs and lows depending on what video you're on. So really look out for that second cook, the big breakfast. I think we go over a lot better things. I think the temperature zones really come into effect, the handles, all the things that you guys are asking about, I think we covered on that big griddle. The first cook that we did, what you just saw, was basically more about just getting used to it, right? Just open it up, see what happens, putting the spatula on the griddle for the first or second time, and just see what happens. But you get a lot more depth and a lot more information on the breakfast cook.
Stay tuned for that one.
While my vegetables are going, I'm just going to lightly put, I don't know, like half a tablespoon. I still might put some of that beef fat down for some flavor, but I just love that butter flavor when it comes to tortilla.
Only on one side?
Yeah. Somebody told me when I made a quesadilla one time that if you add 2 tortillas together, even though they're in the circle and you cut them the same way, technically it's not a quesadilla. A quesadilla is something that's folded over. They used the S word. I don't know what it was. Word I can't pronounce. So, who knew? All right, on low, now we're starting to climb up into the 400s. There's 430, 435, 400. And then over here, we're into the 545 range. Somewhere through there. So the middle eye, about 420 to 430. All right, and the right side, shooting about 340, 330. The middle side, a little bit higher, which honestly is expected. That's probably what I thought. It's hard to get true zone cooking, regardless of the stuff, especially when you have one griddle plate. So the difference is you can definitely tell there's a good 100+ degrees difference. That I can understand. So with this hitting that high of a temp, I'm gonna throw some of this beef tallow down. The one thing that I did notice when I was doing the onions, I'm already going to have a epiphany. What's it called?
A what?
Epiphany?
An epiphany?
Yeah. What's that word mean?
It means like an aha moment.
Yeah, that's not the word I was going to use. I'm not a fan of the grease trap location. If it's on the side of the griddle, I think it's fine. Naturally, I think it's just my fault. I want to run my spatula this way because I'm right-handed. And I swear I scored more yesterday than I have in the last 20 years. Everything I had was dropping in the dang bucket. I've got onions down there for 3 days. But it could be something I can learn with. Trying to make good contact. You can see where I didn't have good contact. But it does have good char. Just hit that chopped up steak, that ribeye with some good seasoning that you like. Pick up that beef flavor on the other side. All right, while that's going, I'm gonna do butter side down, the whole tortilla. Come back in with some of that grated extra sharp cheddar. Not the seriously, the extra sharp. You gotta know the difference.
golly, that looks good, honey.
Then, of course, you guys know how to build a quesadilla. It's not rocket science. Just like that. Move it over. And let that start cooking. Ooh, that's got some good flavor. You might have found a trick.
Just salt.
Well, getting that crust on the outside. I'm gonna make this one exactly the same way as this one right here.
That was just the leftover peppers and onions and steak from the other one.
Yeah. Let me teach you guys something real quick. Typically when you're going to cheeses, ironically, if you let them overcook and burn, it's actually better for your griddle. We talk about how we need to get sauces off the griddle faster. Cheese that has a lot of fat and oils in it is actually a little bit different. Instead of scraping the melted cheese all over your griddle, just let it go to the, you know, the burnt crisp stage. It actually just pills up a lot easier. All right, so this was the steak that we cooked first. This is the steak that we cooked on the griddle with all the other seasonings. So, God, that bite right there looks too good. That is the definition of a cheese steak. That is cheesy and steaky all at the same time. I can't tell the difference.
I was gonna say, you probably couldn't.
I can't tell the difference.
Tastes the same.
Here. That's everything you want. One of those long old rolls.
Boy,
just a
that's
different
good.
texture. It's pretty close.
And less carbs.
Yeah.
We use those carb control tortillas.
You don't feel guilty about it. First cook, kind of, it brought me down back to earth. As excited I was to put it together, as big as it felt, or as heavy as it is, I do think it's going to get hot. They might not stabilize at like 425, 450 on low like some of them do, but I'm going to experiment a little bit on the 3-zone system to see if we get true zone cooking. And lastly, the holes. Like I said, I'm right-handed. It seems like that's like a sweet spot for me. It's fine. Most people, when they get a brand new griddle, it won't even bother them because they're just not used to it yet. But these holes here too, I know you got to find a place to pick it up somewhere else, but you would be amazed how many times you use that as a safeguard with your spatula to help you dig up food. And what I mean is,
Oh, like we were trying to get fried rice.
yeah, and it just goes right in. Well, if you can't go on the sides, I mean, I guess you can go here, but then all of a sudden it crunches your space down. If you go here, which that's what I was saying, that's my sweet spot, then next thing you know, the food's going in there. And I hate shoveling food that way, so that's a personal preference. So, yeah, we bring it back down to normal. I mean, time will tell. Let's cook on it. That's what it's for. And we'll see what happens. All right, guys, there you go. Hey, we have a membership button. It's the join button down below. It's where you guys can help out the channel. We thank each and every one of you for taking time for doing so. She's sneaking a bite.
I am.
Check out the Griddle Group on Facebook, where we talk about griddles. And obviously, this is a hot topic right now, but we've got the Weber, the Blackstone, and the Pit Boss. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button. Pound the notification button. Share it with your friends. Peace.
Oh, these are so stinking good, honey.